Menglong's secret son revealed. The drama that shook the world, the city, was still reeling from the forensic leaks that had torn apart the carefully constructed story of Menglong's death. Streets that had been quiet moments ago were now alive with whispered speculation, the soft hum of news broadcasts, and the glow of candles lining windowsills. The forensic evidence had done more than expose betrayal. It had reignited a national movement for truth, accountability, and justice. But even as Wang Yibo continued to guide the investigation and support Menglong's grieving mother, no one could have anticipated the next revelation, one that would shake the very foundations of everything they thought they knew. It began quietly, almost innocuously. A letter, hand-delivered by an unknown messenger, arrived at Yibo's office. Inside was a single USB drive, carefully labeled "The Legacy." Wang Yibo's heart skipped a beat. The forensic leaks had revealed so much already: hidden meetings, manipulated evidence, shadowed figures. Yet this small package promised something entirely new. Something personal. Something that no one had prepared for. He inserted the drive, and the screen flickered to life. The first file was a series of photographs. A boy, no older than 8, clutching a photograph of Menglong. His eyes were wide, a mixture of innocence and longing, staring at the camera as though he had been waiting his entire life for someone to see him. The second file was a document. DNA reports, meticulously prepared, confirming what the images suggested. This child was Menglong's son. Wang Yibo sat back, stunned. The revelation hit harder than any forensic finding, any manipulated video, any public statement. The world had mourned Menglong, had demanded justice for a life stolen, had followed Yibo as he fought tirelessly for the truth. And now, in one swift moment, a new dimension had opened. Menglong's story was not yet complete. His legacy was being carried forward in a way that no one had expected. The news did not wait. Within minutes, the story went viral. Headlines screamed, Menglong's secret son emerges, a legacy hidden from the world. The child behind the mystery, Menglong's family revealed, from shadows to spotlight. The truth about Menglong's son. Social media exploded. Fans, journalists, and global audiences debated, speculated, and empathized. The hashtags #MenglongSon and #YouMenglongLegacy surged to the top of trending lists worldwide. Yet while the world reacted, Wang Yibo knew the moment required discretion. The child was still young, vulnerable, and unaware of the chaos his existence would unleash. Yibo coordinated with Menglong's mother and the guardians who had been secretly protecting the boy. Security protocols were tightened, ensuring that no untrained eyes, no opportunists, and no dangerous figures could exploit the child. But the revelation had already lit a fire that would be impossible to contain. Inside the quiet sanctuary where the boy had been living, he had grown up hearing stories of his father, though the details were sparse. The guardians had protected him from the media, from fans, and from the lingering dangers that had claimed Menglong's life. Yet as Wang Yibo arrived to meet him for the first time, the air seemed to vibrate with anticipation. The boy approached cautiously, clutching a small photograph of Menglong, unsure whether the man before him could be trusted. While the emotional scene unfolded, the forensic leaks took on a new urgency. Analysts revisited documents, emails, and hidden footage with the knowledge that the child existed. Suddenly, past events were viewed through a new lens. Was Menglong targeted not only because he sought to expose corruption but also because of the life he carried in secret? Were certain attempts to manipulate evidence or silence witnesses directly linked to the protection of this child? Every new question demanded answers, and every answer only deepened the drama. Within hours, additional evidence surfaced. Hidden correspondence revealed that several industry figures had known about the child and sought to control the narrative. Some had acted to conceal the boy entirely, while others had manipulated contracts and guardianship documents to ensure he remained invisible to the world. Forensic experts confirmed that the same network of manipulation exposed in the original leaks had extended its reach, influencing not only Menglong's career but the very existence of his family. Fans and media outlets exploded in response. Vigils evolved into celebrations of life. Streets filled with supporters holding portraits, not only of Menglong, but now of his son. Across social media, live broadcasts, commentary channels, and forums dissected every image, every document, every tiny detail. The public's collective energy created a movement that was impossible to ignore, one dedicated not just to justice for Menglong, but to protecting his son and preserving his legacy. Wang Yiba, as ever, became the anchor. He worked with authorities, guardians, and legal teams to ensure that the child's safety remained paramount while simultaneously releasing curated information to the public. He spoke in carefully measured statements, balancing transparency with protection. "This child," he said in one address, "is the living proof of Menglong's life, courage, and love. We will protect him, honor him, and ensure that his father's truth continues to shine." The revelation of Menglong's secret son sent shockwaves through everyone involved. The city that had once rallied around Menglong's memory was now swept by a new, electric current of curiosity, awe, and suspense. For Wang Yiba, every step forward felt like walking a tightrope. One misstep could expose the boy to danger or unleash another wave of conspiracies. Yet he could feel the weight of Menglong's trust pressing on him, urging him to move cautiously, yet decisively. That afternoon, Yiba visited the hidden residence where the boy had been living under strict protection. The house was nondescript, tucked behind a row of high walls and surveillance cameras. Inside, it felt quiet and ordinary, but the tension was palpable. The boy, no more than 8 years old, sat in the living room with a small photograph of Menglong clutched tightly in his hands. His eyes, dark and unblinking, followed Yiba as he entered. The room was bathed in sunlight, yet it felt like the calm before a storm. "Hello," Yiba said softly, kneeling to meet the child's gaze. "I'm here because I knew your father. He loved you more than you can imagine. And now, we have to make sure his story and your story are safe." The boy's hands trembled as he reached out. There was a silence, so deep it seemed to press against the walls. Then, almost imperceptibly, he whispered, "Papa told me you'd come." The words sent a shiver down Yiba's spine. He had anticipated grief, hesitation, fear, but not this quiet, almost sacred acknowledgement of Menglong's presence in the child's life. It was as if Menglong's voice had traveled through time to speak through the boy, bridging the gap between the living and the lost. Yiba gently took the boy's hand, guiding him to sit on the floor. "Your father left messages," he explained, "hidden, protected, for this very moment. He wanted you to know who he was and what he stood for. And now, we'll make sure the world understands, too." From a secure bag, Yiba pulled out a small box containing handwritten notes, encrypted letters, and a USB drive labeled in Menglong's precise handwriting. "For my son." The boy's eyes widened as he recognized his father's careful script. Slowly, reverently, he opened the box, revealing pages filled with personal messages, words of love, instructions for safety. The revelation of Menglong's son had sent ripples across the world, but inside the hidden residence, the tension was far from over. While the boy clutched his father's letters and the USB drive, absorbing every word, Wang Yiba was acutely aware of the silent threats lurking beyond the walls. Those who had orchestrated Menglong's demise were not idle. They had already taken note of the child's existence, and now, the stakes had grown even higher. Late that night, Yiba convened a private security meeting. The guardians, legal advisors, and tech specialists gathered around a table stacked with surveillance monitors and encrypted communications devices. Every window, every door, every hallway of the residence was now under observation. The child's safety had become a fortress of vigilance. "We can't assume they're not watching," Yiba said, his tone low but firm. "The moment the world knows about him, he becomes a target. We have to anticipate every move, every attempt to manipulate or harm him." Meanwhile, the boy explored the letters his father had left behind, each page a testament to Menglong's meticulous foresight. One note outlined precautions for personal safety, another shared philosophical reflections on courage and truth, while yet another hinted at secrets Menglong had uncovered in his final months. The child read quietly, absorbing every lesson. Despite his age, A spark of determination lit in his eyes, the same fire his father had carried in life. As dawn broke over the city, Wang Yiba led the boy to a private rooftop garden hidden behind the high walls of the residence. The sky glimmered in shades of pink and gold, and the air carried the faint scent of rain-soaked concrete. "Look," Yiba said gently, "your father always believed in hope. Even when things seemed impossible, he trusted that truth would survive." The boy traced the skyline with small, trembling fingers. "I want to help," he whispered. "I want to make sure people know the truth about him." Yiba's heart tightened. The child's courage was remarkable, but he was still young, and the world outside was anything but safe. "You will," Yiba replied. "But we have to be careful. Courage is not only about speaking the truth, it's about surviving long enough to see it heard." It was during this time that a breakthrough came from the forensic team. Hidden in the old files, investigators discovered a series of encrypted emails that Menglong had sent months before his death. The emails referenced the child directly, including precautions for his safety, instructions for trusted guardians, and warnings about specific figures in the entertainment industry. These emails provided not only validation of the boy's identity, but also clues about those who had sought to conceal him. Yiba studied the emails closely. Names that had previously seemed tangential now took on chilling significance. Individuals who had smiled at Menglong publicly were revealed to have monitored his private life, manipulating contracts and communications to prevent the child's existence from ever becoming known. It became clear that the conspiracy extended beyond Menglong's death. The boy had been a living piece of evidence, a secret Menglong had fought to protect. The tension in the city escalated as news of the child's existence spread. Supporters began organizing public demonstrations, rallies, and candlelit vigils. Across neighborhoods, screens displayed portraits of Menglong, accompanied by banners demanding justice not only for the actor, but also for his son. The movement transcended fandom. It had become a collective call for accountability, courage, and protection of truth. Inside the residence, Yiba prepared for a delicate encounter. Guardians had received information that someone claiming to have knowledge of the boy's whereabouts had been spotted near a nearby surveillance checkpoint. The threat was indirect but alarming, a reminder that danger could arrive in subtle forms, not just overt attacks. Yiba arranged a simulated evacuation drill for the boy, teaching him how to move safely within the house, use secure exits, and recognize suspicious activity. Each step was both practical and symbolic, a lesson in vigilance, resilience, and trust. That evening, Yiba brought the boy into a dimly lit room where Menglong's mother waited. She had spent months grieving, fighting, and protecting secrets, but this reunion was different. Her arms trembled as she held her grandson close. "He is your father's heart," she whispered, "and together, we will protect it from anyone who tries to extinguish it." The boy listened intently as his grandmother recounted stories of Menglong's courage, love, and meticulous foresight. "Your father always believed in justice," she said. "And now, through you, his story continues." The child nodded solemnly, clutching his father's letters and the USB drive, tangible connections to a life that had been cut tragically short. Over the following days, Yiba began planning the next steps. The child's existence had to be publicly acknowledged, but in a controlled manner. Legal teams drafted statements, guardians prepared protective protocols, and security personnel conducted comprehensive sweeps of all potential threats. Every decision balanced the child's safety with the growing public demand for transparency. Meanwhile, forensic experts uncovered more startling evidence. Hidden financial records suggested that those responsible for Menglong's death had also sought to manipulate the child's guardianship. Certain individuals had attempted to claim authority over him, using legal loopholes and covert influence to gain access. Every document, email, and financial record now painted a larger, more intricate picture of the conspiracy. The boy, despite his age, began to understand the magnitude of his father's fight. Yiba sat with him each night, discussing the evidence, explaining the significance of forensic findings, and teaching him about courage, responsibility, and truth. "Your father's life was cut short," Yiba explained, "but his work, his fight, and his legacy live through you. You carry that responsibility now." One evening, the boy asked a question that pierced Ibo's heart. Will they try to take my story away from me? Ibo knelt down, looking him in the eyes. They may try, he said. But your father taught us that courage and truth cannot be erased. And we will make sure your voice is heard, safely, in the right way. The city outside mirrored